Why, hello there. You guys are back so soon. Oh, don't worry. I'm not cooking the pasta for myself. I'm watching it for my housemate. Right, Sid?
Right.
Anyway, today Rob's going to be making a chicken dinner, but with a little bit more of an elegant flair to it. Yet it's still simple.
I'm here today to cook you a chicken dinner, as Katie told you just a few minutes ago. It's going to be a delicious dinner. We got a few things already set up. We've got our pots and pans on the stove. This one here will be for our delicious orzo, and this one here will be for the beginning of our chicken wrapped asparagus. As I mentioned, we're having chicken wrapped asparagus. Now, asparagus is one of my favorite vegetables. Delicious in the springtime, delicious even in the fall. Nice and woody and green tasting. But first off, you got to make sure you always wash your vegetables. So we're going to do that real quick. Nice little rinse going in there. Cold water helps keep the vegetables nice and perky and nice and crisp, which is what you really want in the vegetable. Okay, so now that we got our nice clean asparagus, we're going to chop off the ends. So the ends of asparagus are very woody and hard to chew. So you want to get rid of those and just chop off like a nice half-inch section. It'll give you the best product, and you still have a good amount of vegetable to deal with. So now we're going to add some butter into the pot. This is going to be for our orzo, so we're going to get them nice and sizzling. But to prevent the butter from burning or browning, we're going to add some olive oil as well. So just a little tad of olive oil in there. The two fats will combine and prevent the butter from burning. So now we've got an onion here that we're going to chop up real quick. Remove the excess skin on the outside of the onion. Really quick, there we go. Also another one here. And we're going to chop this up nice and small, again, for our orzo and Parmesan pea. Okay, so now we're going to add some garlic. Minced garlic's a really good thing to have around the house. Just because it's so much easier, you don't have to mess up your hands. All I got to do is just toss a little bit in the pot here with some of that softened onion that I told you guys about. We got it on about medium to medium-high heat. And garlic can kind of add to taste. If you like it more garlicky, feel free to add some more. I added about 2 teaspoons in there. And we're just going to let that soften up real quick over some of the heat. So you want to soften the onions and garlic for about 3 to 4 minutes, just until they're kind of translucent. And we'll just let those sit in there, and in a little bit we'll add the orzo to the pot. So guys, now we're going to put the orzo into the pot. If you haven't seen orzo before, it looks kind of like rice, but it's actually pasta. Little wheat pasta. We picked up wheat orzo this time. Healthier for you, obviously, and a lot more nutrients than say your standard semolina pasta. So we're going to pop this entire 16-ounce container into there with the onions and the garlic, everything. We're going to let sit in there just for a second. And it's going to toast up. So it's going to toast up the orzo in the bottom of the pan. We got enough onion and everything in there to flavor it pretty well. And you can see how it's getting kind of toasty. And just before it gets too toasty, we're going to add real quick 32 ounces of chicken stock. So chicken stock, you can get, this is fat-free chicken stock and has no MSG, so it's low sodium. That's very important. Low sodium is really good for you, or a lot better for you than the full sodium. We're going to add the entire container into the pot, and we're going to let the orzo absorb that delicious, delicious chicken stock. So that's the beginning of our cream sauce, or lemon cream sauce. We're using up the extra half of the onion that we had earlier from making the orzo pasta, but we're including it in our sauce. So I've cut it a little finer than you saw me cut it in the actual orzo. But it's the same setup there. We got some butter, some olive oil. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper just to taste. And we'll just let this going until those onions are nice and softened, and we may have this delicious sauce to top off our asparagus wrapped chicken. So we're going to add a little garlic to this as well, just to get those similar flavors as the orzo. And we're going to stir this in here again and get it nice and softened. This one should be softened even more, so you're probably going to let this go for about 5 minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to start getting our chicken ready. So now we're going to get going on the chicken. And now what we have here, I bought pre-cut, basically, chicken cutlets. So they're nice and thin, as you can see there. We're going to lie them down on our board here, and this is where things get interesting, really. We're going to wrap our asparagus in chicken. So, first off, to make sure that everything is nicely seasoned, we're going to season the inside of the chicken. Just a little bit of salt and pepper on the inside there. We're also going to add some red pepper flake. Give it a little bit of a zip and a zang there, a little spiciness, and some Italian seasoning. So we're going to sprinkle all that on the inside of the actual chicken. And now we're going to take a nice bundle of our asparagus. We just basically got to judge how many asparagus can fit in the width of the chicken. So we're going to put it in there. We're going to roll it up. This is where it gets a little more difficult, but you're going to roll it up like this. There you go. You're going to pinch it on the one side, and this is where you have to use some toothpicks. We're going to take toothpicks, pierce the chicken through to kind of seal it shut.
Don't forget about the string.
Now, you can also use string doing this. It's a little easier if you use the string, to be honest with you. I didn't have any today. My apologies on that. But using these toothpicks is also very easy. So now you see we got a nice little contained package there. Now I'm going to continue to seal this up a little bit, and we're just going to keep doing that with the other pieces of chicken. Okay, so I just placed a little olive oil in here. You can kind of see how the pan is glistening. Now olive oil is really heart healthy, and that's what we're going to end up cooking the chicken, and I just finished wrapping those up just a few seconds ago. We're going to pop them in them. There's no need to add any butter this time because the asparagus and chicken on their own are so flavorful that we won't need to add any extra fat. Okay, so stay tuned. So as you can see here, the orzo has absorbed most of the chicken broth. We're going to let it continue to go for a little while, but this is very important. At this point, you want to make sure you're constantly stirring it or keeping it off or on low heat, because otherwise the orzo will stick to the bottom of the pan and burn. And burned orzo is no good orzo. And now we're going to put the chicken into the pan now that this is all set. We got them all wrapped over here, as you can see. I'm going to lower the heat on this orzo and raise the heat on our sauce over here, which the onions are nice and softened. So, we got the oil on this pan nice and hot. And we're going to drop it in there. The pan is nice and hot. I'm actually burning my hand right now. But we're going to drop it in. Let it go. Hope you get an extra little toothpick stuck in there.
Don't burn yourself.
It's very hot. So we're going to flip this out. You can eliminate that. Pretend that the one just poofed. Okay, and we're going to drop the chicken into the actual pan. So you're going to hear a nice sizzle. That's what you want to hear. Drop them all in there. They should all squeeze in nice and snug. Now again, if you had string, this would be a lot easier, so I definitely recommend just buying string. At the moment, this looks like death. We're going to let them cook through the bottom there, get nice and brown. We're going to raise the temperature on that a little bit. Okay, now we got our orzo again, so I'm going to give this another stir. It's getting nice and thick, which is what we want. We'll be adding our cheese and peas to this very shortly. But I turned down the heat, so it's getting nice and thick, like mac and cheese almost. You see that nice consistency? The orzo will continue to cook, and it'll be very tasty. So we're going to add some Parmesan cheese to this now. And this is really going to get it nice and cheesy. We're going to add it right in. And mix it on into the orzo. Added the cheese to the actual pot, and now you can see how it's getting nice and creamy. Delicious, right? Tastes pretty good. juiced 2 lemons, and they're going to go right into the saucepan, which we got in the back, and it's going to be, we're going to raise the temperature on that until it gets a little simmery. Ooh, delicious, right? So we got some nice browning going on the chicken. We're going to flip it real quick in the pan, just to get all of the sides brown. Or at least exposed to the heat. That's all you really need. These chicken cutlets are so thin that they'll cook in an instant, as long as they're exposed to some heat. And I'd say they still look pretty darn good. Okay, so now we've got some frozen sweet peas here. Really easy to open. They're freshly steamed as soon as they come off the actual vine. We're just going to open this bag real quick with a knife and drop them into the actual orzo. Now, they are frozen or partially frozen still, but the residual heat from the actual orzo is going to thaw them and help actually thin out this kind of cheesy, delicious goodness. So we're browned on the outside. I just added some lemon juice over the top of it. We're going to put this in the oven and just let it finish off cooking. Oh, I'm sorry. The orzo's finished. I like it, and I'm enjoying it. I'm just adding some parsley to our cream sauce in the back here, as well as our other dishes. Parsley just adds a nice brightness to the dishes. So now we have the final product. So I just added a little bit of the lemon cream sauce. This is the finished product right here. Onto the actual chicken, we have the orzo out of the pan with the spring peas already added to it. Quite the feast.